Okay, friends. Um, I say if you guys are down, let's just get started. People will filter in and we'll kind of onboard them as we go. You guys ready to make some maps? Let's ask this question to start with. How many of you guys are familiar with Worldographer as a software? I bought this like years ago. There are lots of things online that will do stuff like this. So you don't have to go buy this. There's plenty of websites that can generate random maps for you. I like this one because I can edit the maps a little bit when I get done. But Black Moon, you're here. Nice. Well, welcome in, friendo. We are just about to get started. Everybody ready to make some maps? Start building a kingdom map. Okay. We're going to make it 100 hexes wide and 50 hexes tall. Yes. We're going to have a world level map. 20% icy. I want to build one region. We'll do classic icons. Okay, this world is based off 4 elemental crystals that bring light to the world. JK. Very funny. Okay, guys. So let's look at these settings here. These are like our land generation settings. It's got 30% land frequency, 40% mountain, 50% vegetation, 20% icy, I know too much, and 15% tropical. I think more than 15% should be tropical. What do you guys think? Well, I guess that makes more sense, though, if we're doing like a full world, right? So I'm sure that they've based these off of like what the real world is kind of like-ish. No desert, no spicy sand. Sand, it does have sand. It does generate like deserts and badlands and stuff. They're generally not as prevalent as stuff. We can probably increase the frequency of how much sand will spawn by decreasing the vegetation frequency. I bet you, like, they don't have like a make more desert button. Those are terrestrial rates. They don't have like a make more sand button, but if you decrease the vegetation, you automatically increase the sand, right? So those are directly and inversely proportional things, right? So, yeah, but what do you guys think? Do you want to just like leave it on standard settings, or do you want to muck with this stuff a little bit? Do we want to start crafting, like, do we want a world with more like tropical, stuff in it? Do we, and really it's more of like a region. Do we want like this region of this world to be, more heavily weighted towards one of these things than another? My cat is very mad. Everyone left her and she's lonely. Poor thing. She just wants to come in and yell. Maybe make it super tropically like Xanth. I mean, we could. We could bump that tropical percentage up to like 25 maybe. And then here's the other thing is we can fuck with these, and I think we should generate a couple of different maps. Like, we're not just going to pick one and leave it, right? Oops, all water. We could make, we could decrease land. Okay, so let's start. We had suggestion for extra tropics. I'm going to say let's go all the way up to 35% tropical and generate that and see what it looks like. Finished, close. Okay. So I'm going to get my pan button out. Okay, so we've got, it could be more tropical. I'm not going to lie to you. We've got this big band of tropical stuff in the middle. I can edit this if we need to, right? To make like more of this, like to get rid of some of the sand and really just make this like a big dense forest that kind of separates these two zones. What do you think? This kind of moon from a faraway planet that you need a submarine to traverse. Archipelagos are super fun. So, okay, so there's one map. I can see some possibilities. I think it would need some editing, in my opinion, to like really dig into it. Let's make a new one. So, Beast, you said let's set these back to default. You said you wanted something with a lot less land. So let's do like 10% land frequency and generate that and see what happens. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So for this one, interesting. What it did was like 2 relatively far apart land masses with a little bit of island here and there. I feel like we could use more island and I don't really know how to make that happen, but we could just add islands to this map to kind of make like an archipelago, you know, maybe like connect these two volcanic mountains with like a series of islands or something. Smaller landmass, upper mid. Yeah, something like this, like little that they fight over, something like that. Yeah. So there's an option. What else? What other kinds of things are you guys interested in? What was this number originally? Was this 30%? I don't know what the default was. Remove all the ice. Okay, so you want land frequency. You want that? Okay, so you want us to kill the, because like, okay, so here's the question, Beast. Yo, what's up, Jay? Do you want us to manually remove this? Well, I can't really do it pole by pole. Like we'd have to manually, which we could manually get rid of probably all this ice, I would think, but I don't know. We also could make it taller, deep forest. We could do one where we increase the vegetation a lot. Let's see. Vegetation's already pretty high. Let's increase tropical and increase vegetation to like 65. We'll do maybe 30% land mass. We'll try that out. What do we get? Okay, so this one, we've got a bunch of forests down here. We've got some tropical stuff around what seems to maybe be the equator. And then we have this other mass over here with a lot of forests. So there's forests everywhere on this thing, full of way too many ideas. I like this little zone here, zooming in like on the way these continents just like almost kind of touch. That's pretty cool. You know, we have, oh, this is interesting. We've got this desert with this big volcano in the middle of it. That's an interesting thought. You know, we've got all of these forests kind of all over the place. Most of these things are like forest, right? This one has a few more islands. We've got some sort of, you know, volcanic islands out there. What do we think, guys? Honestly, if you stretch the landmass, you'd have the WoW map. Okay, interesting. And you know what? This is kind of cool, guys. Look at this. You have this. This almost looks like how the actual world, like, how do I put this? This like fits. This fits up into. It's like it's almost like tectonics, right? You know what I'm saying? Like the borders of these two things really almost fit together. This is a bit of an aberration, right? These two sticking out parts. But we could come up with some reason why that is like that. Maybe this low-lying like tropical area here of like really marshy stuff is actually like it didn't used to be a tall landmass. Like maybe like it was like there was like an earthquake or something, and like an inland sea drained and left this area, but it's really low lying, so it's like very, very marshy in here. You know, it's like almost right at sea level, like kind of Louisiana shit. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think this might be the map. I kind of like this thing. I mean, it's got a lot of forest in it to deal with, but we can always, if we don't like how much of it is all forest and that there's no grasslands, like we can change that if we want to. But yeah, I like this central, also this central sea, like in between these two things, this whole zone is really cool, right? It goes from the ice caps down to like, I think this area is, I really like the masses seem that they're going to fit together. Yeah, I like that too. We've got like some big inland sea lake things. That's really cool on this, especially on this other continent over here, right? We've got this big, I think this is another spot where this area of Badlands, like this, clearly this water used to be connected, I guess is what I'm saying, right? This right here. And then something happened and built this like land bridge there. I don't know what that thing was, but like, you know, there's all of like this area clearly, like that's a big lake, inland sea kind of thing. Well, like a Great Lakes region. Like this whole top part of this is like a Great Lakes type thing. You know what I mean? That's really cool. We have this sort of band of tropics around the equator. I love this volcano over here. We have some smaller lakes down over here. And there's like a Great Lake right there, although I might want to wipe that one out. I don't know. But turn that land bridge into a dam. Talking about this land bridge is a dam, or like damming up something between this. Anyway, I really love this because I feel like this to me screams like political conflict and intrigue. I also think it's interesting to me how this landmass spans basically from ice cap to ice cap. That is interesting, right? That like there would be no way to circumnavigate the globe in this direction on water. You would have to cross land, right? So like I don't know, and in my mind, I set this to be a region. So this is maybe like one side of the globe. Put a bridge there. Yeah, there could be like a big, maybe one of the big things in the story is about trying to, or in the setting, is this trying to bridge this gap. I don't know. Maybe they like the old king used to want to bridge this gap, but then he was assassinated. I don't know. We got a lot of stuff we can work. Bridge the connection was a massive war. Okay. So we've got some ideas. So I think this is the map we're going to focus on. So I want to save this. Let's put this in my D&D stuff. We're gonna call this. Okay, what do we call this world? Make it a city. Could be. Maybe we do an Atlantis thing. Like there used to be this bridge that connected them, and there was a city in the center of the bridge, and then like some cataclysmic shit happened, and it sank into the sea, and now like I don't know, Cthulhu lives there or some shit. I don't know. I'm spitballing here, guys. Obviously, this whole stream is spitballing. What do we call this world? When Matt Colville did this, he called his world Calabris, which was really cool, and we can't steal that. But modern day Istanbul and Budapest are both good references. Yeah, I don't know shit about Istanbul or Budapest, so you guys are going to have to handle the real world knowledge on that. But what do we call this world, guys? Anyone got a good name, or do we just call it something for now and rename it later? Give it like a working title. The world of Ostath. Okay, name later. Okay. All right. Oh, Ostath. Is that Ostith or Ostath? I mean, people would pronounce it differently, right? Izalith. Isn't that from Dark Souls? No, Izalith. It's close. That's like it's very close to Izalith. Izalith. I already have Itsune, so I feel like I gotta stay away from the eyes. I do. Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna call this World Collab Map for now. We'll call it World Collab Map for now. Yo, Pamwich, what's up, friendo? Okay, guys. So, here's what I like to do when I world build. And you guys can tell me if you have other ways you like to start. But what I like to do is I like to pick a thing, a concept, an idea, part of the story, part of the world, but something that interests me, that gets me excited to work on it, right? So just looking at this map, there's a bunch of stuff that jumps out at me. The volcano in the desert, love that. The land bridge thing up here, love that. At this area right here, love that, right? This whole Great Lakes region, love that, right? Larn, like Pern, or Learn. I don't know if that's Learn or Larn. I say let's move on from the name real quick. It sounded so crappy in Discord. Your mic was being picked up by your stupid second cam. Yeah, I was like, I figured it must have been your webcam or something, Pam. So I wasn't that worried about it. I figured you'd get there eventually. And I didn't, love the little gulfs for out. Yeah. Yeah, like there's a lot of these little harbors and gulfs and shit. I probably should have said something, but I am a piece of shit and I didn't. So I apologize. Anyway, so LOL. Okay, so I say let's leave the name behind for now. What excites you guys about this map? Like, what draws your attention as like, ooh, I really want to work on that? Lots of trade, lots of pirates. Yes, love the pirates thing. The sunken city, I love that. right? The land bridge, the volcano in the desert. Also, this volcano and this mountain range over here is really, really cool. It's a very small region, but like this, I think would be a really insular region for a couple of reasons, right? It's hard to get over here. There's a big ass desert over here. There's a bunch of mountains over here. The sand volcano, Mordor, yeah. There's like a little area of nice land here. It's a bunch of archipelagos over here with a few volcanoes, but there's no sea route to this place, right? You could go by sea to a couple different sides of this coast, but like you're cut off from the rest of the world, really. And your best ports of call are going to be like this area or maybe this area, or maybe like that right there, right? I like the volcano way out on the island. Yeah, like this stuff out or this guy, that guy, yeah. Almost like a line of fire. Yeah, and that's cool too in terms of the yeah, we have this like line of fire here, right? Or are you talking about this guy? Gnomish ring forts. So, okay, so we've had a couple suggestions. The Sunken City, maybe there's an artifact in the depths. What draw? Like I said, can we get a consensus in the chat? There's so much water, floating cities. Maybe. What like draws you guys' attention geographically? Right. So there's a couple of things that occur to me. One, this desert here is a natural barrier, right? Separating whatever this fucking shit is from like everything else, except that they have access to water, right? We have a lot of like decent farmable land in this kind of northern region here. And not as much over here. We've got a big forest and we've got a bunch of swampland, and then we've got all these mountains. There's this is okay. Here's some things. Icy and snowy mountains. Yes, love that. Here's the thing. I think the center of culture on this side of the map, on the western side of the map, is this zone right here. What do you guys think? I think this is like the breadbasket and the sort of the imperial center of everything over here. Yeah? What do you guys think? Does that seem, because it's just a hop and a skip away from this overseas, right? And it's got like the most farmland and probably would have control over, maybe there's another inland kingdom here or something. I don't really know. Makes sense. Imports on the water. But I think this is the powerhouse here. Does anyone else disagree with that concept? Also, I want to view the grid. Put the grid on here. Nah, I like it without the grid. Okay. That's the big kingdom. Okay, so yeah, I think we put a city here. Hang on, guys. I gotta stretch this around to where it like fits properly. What is? I only really want to see like the classic ones here. Label font. I don't care about the label style. City label. I'm not labeling anything. I just actually only want to see cities. I don't see why not. Okay. I've got a bunch of stuff I don't really need in here. Where's my thing? Okay, I guess let's use this castle maybe for this city. What do you think? And I think let's just plop that thing like right in the center there, yeah? So that gives us a sense that there's something there. We know that there's like a ruined sunken city deep under the waves. We don't know much about that yet, but that very much interests me. What is a good... Well, I think there was like a ruin down here, wasn't there? Let's see, guys. Where was my ruined city ass looking? Yeah, this thing. Okay. This will be our ruined city, and we'll put it like right in the middle of that. Yeah. I don't know which side of the channel. We'll just put it like right there. I don't know which exactly. Bonus Mom's here now. Who's here? Are you back already? Black Moon's here. Beast is here. Daniel is here. I think Ace is here. We got a lot of folks hanging out. What if the level 121 shot took place in this world? That would be super cool. The level 21 shot is currently taking place. I might be able to reflavor it. It is a little bit of short notice. We'll see. TBD on that. I don't want to say where it is supposed to be in case I decide to change my mind. So, okay, so we've got our busted city. We have this volcano. Okay, so let me write some stuff down. We have the suggestion for a race of otters, which I think maybe the race of otters there's like saltwater otters. Maybe the otters, right? Aren't there? Maybe the otters are like sea otters. Maybe the otters are in that like archipelago of the Ring of Fire. That could be super cool. Let me write that down. And they would be kind of separated from a lot of the rest of the world, which could be cool, which means if you ran adventures in the eastern continent, those otters could be like super rare, right? That would be really, really cool. Okay. Mostly just theorizing. Yeah, you're all good. Okay, so we have sunken city in the central sea at closest point of land bridge, or of closest point of land between two continents. What do we know about it so far? It used to be on a massive bridge spanning the land, but it sunk for some unknown reason. Okay, so that's what we know about it so far. We know that there is a volcano. Sea otters, much like island folk. Yeah, exactly. Like I think the race of like sentient humanoid sea otters are like, you know, seafarers and hey kiddos, indeed. Okay, so there's a volcano in the desert. What's its deal? Okay, so we've hit on a couple things. We know that there is a Great Lakes type region in the northeast continent. We know that. And we know that the center of power / breadbasket of the west continent is in the large area of farmland directly south of the sunken city, basically. Okay. Volcano in the desert, glass culture. Okay. Maybe. Glass culture. Okay. So, I think we're at the stage, we've got a couple of different ideas. Underground water heat, geothermal heat. Okay, it looks like people are desert cats. Okay. It looks like people are coming up with ideas about this volcano situation. So what I kind of want to decide before any of the rest of that is a little bit more. Okay, so let me put it this way. Here's what I like to do when I world build is I like to pick the Great Lakes could be a fishing hub. That's very good. God, you guys are throwing too many good ideas at me. I can't get my thing out. Fishing. So we'll say freshwater fishing hub, right? Because there's plenty of ocean. Okay, so here's what I like to do. I like to pick like one thing to zero in on, right? And I like to start by either choosing something interesting about it or asking questions about it and then answering them. And then what I like to do is I like to ask myself, like, what must be true? That's like the question I always come back to when I'm world building. And I'll give you an example, right? When I was first world building Ainor, the region that I started with was the Fellwood. Okay. And the way that I started that was by coming up with the town of Pine Hunt. Another great world building tip, start small, build outwards. Exactly, right? So we're kind of starting with this volcanic region. We've got this big desert, whatever. So what I like to do is I like to pick one thing that's interesting, right? So I came up with this idea, this town of Pine Hunt, and I liked the idea. I was kind of taking inspiration from Helm's Deep in Lord of the Rings, and I liked the idea that you had these walls, and the only thing about the walls, though, was that there was like a little like that the water went through the walls, basically, right? You know how there's that little culvert where the water comes in and out of Helm's Deep? So I fixated on that and came up with this town of Pine Hunt, right? And I liked the idea that it kind of bisected this river, kind of like a London style of thing. As opposed, like, I know a lot of like fantasy villages start and it's like the whole city is on like one side of the river for the most part. Well, I like the idea that this was a bigger city and that it had grown and spanned across the river, but that there was a wall around it, right? So going back to my what must be true thing, you see a lake by Mount Volcano. That is a very good point. Going back to my what must be true thing, right? Is this. If I had a city with walls, what must be true is that there is a threat. You know what I'm saying? Like, it logically follows, if you have walls on a city, there's a threat. So what is the threat? And you answer that question, right? And I decided that the question was that it was in a very dangerous region. Okay, well, what are the walls made out of? They've got to be made out of, what must be true? Well, they must be made out of something. And I liked the idea that they were made out of wood, right? So if they're made out of wood, then there's a source of wood, right? So, okay, what if this is in this village that I was building, this town, was in the woods, right? And it bisects this river, and the woods are very dangerous. And so you put walls around the town. Okay. So then that led me to the volcano's active. There's ash and ash clouds, weather problem, crop growth problems, fire danger. Yeah. Right. So, well, but another thing though, bonus mom, is that like, isn't volcanic ash, like, it can be really fertile, can't it? Like, not when it's happening, but like after it settles, doesn't it actually kind of enrich the soil? Anyway, and we have all this desert around here, right? Although the ash and clouds could make it hard for stuff to grow. Okay, so having given that example, right? What is our one thing that we want to pick about the volcano, right? What's the one thing that we want to pick about? It could be anything about it. It could be the geography of it. It could be the history of how it came to be geologically, or is there some other reason why there's a volcano here? Or it could be about like what kind of people live here. We've had several. It's periodically active. Okay. We've had several suggestions. We have this glass culture thing. We have this geothermal kind of power thing, alluvial soil enriched by nitrogen and minerals for volcanic activity. Exactly. Maybe the volcano could be the nest of a large clutch of dragons. Yep, of course, there could be a dragon situation here. And we have had desert cats as a suggestion. The only inland volcano, you think dwarves, which you think forge, which makes you think dwarves. Could be. We do have a little mountain range here. We could have like a very insular sect of dwarves who are kind of up in this zone. We also could think outside of that, right? We could, we could play into that stereotype. We also could play against it. We like Bonus Mom's idea of constant shadow from ash. That is very interesting. I almost like, to me, I struggle with the idea of a desert that never sees the sun. Maybe that could be cool, but I kind of am struggling with it, if I'm being honest. I don't know what that would. I mean, it's a fantasy world, but like I can't really wrap my head around what it would look like. But I'm open to being convinced. Only periodically active? Okay. But that, like, when it's active, it blots out the sun for large periods of time. Ashbourne. Well, that's a cool name. I don't know what that means, but we'll write that down because that's a cool name. So for long periods of time, no firstborn of that area, different skin tones. Maybe. I don't know. Could be a form of lizard folks that utilizes the obsidian for tools and weapons. Okay, yeah, we could have lizard folk there. I don't know. I feel like we have yet to really hit a slam dunk on. I felt like we were closer with desert cats, maybe. Ash yams. I mean, we could pull from Morrowind. Maybe there's like a blight or something, Maybe, I don't know. Because that's the other thing too. The volcano could be real bad, right? It doesn't, it doesn't have to be livable anywhere in the vicinity of this. This could be just like some Mordor shit, It could be very much like the ash blight from Morrowind. Which and that actually could work into, okay, hang on, wait a minute. That actually could work into Bonus Mom's idea of the clouds and it never sees the sun. If I'm thinking about the Red Mountain region of Morrowind, of Vardenfell, yeah. Maybe they've come up with interesting magical imbued breathing mechanisms. Could be. Desert used to be more forest like the surrounding area. When the volcano erupted, it cleared off the area. Yeah, see, I like that historically as an idea. Inactive volcano, that's a nomad hub. I figured out how to craft things with ash. I'm almost feeling more like this one singular inland volcano. I almost... Oh, hang on. Can I undo that? Okay, I accidentally... That's not what I want. Okay, all right. This one inland volcano, I almost like the idea of something more negative and nefarious going on with this. Like I maybe like the idea of some sort of like blight disease, and I'm warming up to the idea of Bonus Mom's like cloud of ash, because I think taking some sort of like undead curse or some sort of like blight disease, or maybe even some sort of like fungal or bacterial infection, like Corpus or something, from I'm getting Morrowind vibes from this. Ash blight, yeah, exactly, right? Like some sort of stuff, and maybe there's like, I don't know, maybe there's like a Draco Lich or like a shadow dragon that was born from like a red dragon or something at the heart of the volcano, and that's like the source of this big sort of regional disease problem thing, and maybe it like slumbers, and whenever it has like bad dreams, it like expels this gas and this ash blight. Yeah, I don't know. And maybe like what the ash blight actually is like undead fire or something. I don't know. Am I barking up a great worm soul within? Yeah. Am I barking up, what is this, Dungeons and Dragons? That's a piece. That's exactly what this is. Did you read the title of the stream, buddy? My friend, my guy? No, I know you're just fucking with me. I don't know. What do you guys think? That was like, I sort of just spun a bunch of that. Some sinister necromancer is a dream eater and messing with the Draco Lich. That could be really cool. The desert spans from east to west. What if that was once water that is not dried out? Yeah, and I'm thinking like it goes a little more south. I almost think let's chunk this stuff out right here and make it more desert. Yeah. Fire zombies, exactly. Like I like this idea of like undead fire. It's like if fire could be a zombie, that's what this thing exudes, right? And that it like if the volcanic activity, people make glass from the sand, the glass is amazing in some way. I almost like the idea here, Bonus Mom, that they want the glass, but it's a risk and a danger. Maybe. The necromancer hides in the kingdom. Fellfire. Yeah. Okay, so Lich Fire. Yeah, Lich Fire could be good. Okay, so we like this, and this Ashborn thing could be like if we make the desert bigger, what if something forced the volcano to erupt and isolate the lower piece of land? Yeah. Okay, so I like this Ash Blight idea. I like this Draco Lich / Shadow Dragon former red dragon thing. Breathes undead fire. We call that maybe Lich Fire. or maybe lich fire, something like that. What do we think? I feel like this is I feel like this feels good to me for this area. I like this ash blight thing. I like this ash born thing. I do like that. I don't know what that means, but it's very, very evocative. So I'm kind of feeling that. Where's everybody else on this? I like desolate area. The sun is often blotted out by the ash fumes. I'm with that now. I've gotten there. What if, okay, yeah. And I kind of feel like, okay, so let's get back to my terrain here. Come here. And let's do, okay, what are these things that are there? These are, okay, those just say hills. That actually doesn't say desert. But it does kind of look like desert hills. But I think let's desertify this thing a little bit. So let's put dunes. Let's put dunes everywhere there's currently hills over here real quick. And then we'll begin to sort of refine that more as we go, yeah? Black Peak. Black Peak is good. Hang on, guys. We'll okay. Okay, and then I say let's put some sand in here. I like the idea that there's this random bit of water there. In a couple spots, maybe some rockier desert, like around the thing. Where's my dunes? Where's my dunes? That oasis becomes super valuable. I almost like the idea, though, that the oasis is like dead and infected. You know what I mean? Like, you can see something where the ash itself, when used to hone tools, sharpens them or affects them in some amazing way, so people don't stay away. Maybe it's the yeah. We could do like some kind of ash glass or glash, or I don't know. That glash is lame. Ash glass. Something. Okay. So we have this like desert area here that kind of like, I feel like maybe we would have some slightly less. Yeah, I think that looks good. Okay. Ash glass, I like it. Shadow glass. Yeah, shadow glass is good. Oasis, more like an onosis. Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I like the idea, and I want to do like a, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I have a texture that I'm gonna like for this. But I want to do like something mountain, dead forest, underdark. Let me use these water reefs to just give it this like wrong look. You're here all week. Yeah. Okay. So we have this like blighted land, and I almost think I want to do not dead forest. Can I do like a, I don't know, do they have like a blight looking? I don't want floor metal. I don't want floor stone. Hills, dead forest. I don't need this super realistic stuff. That's not really what we're going for. Blighted tropics. Yeah, they don't really give me what I'm looking for with that, so it is what it is. Okay. Back to the top. Okay, so we've got some stuff. So we have this dragon. I like that. We have it. It's desolated the area. I think one of my. So when it dreams of something, I don't know what necessarily, it exudes huge billows of undead ash and fire that blot out the sun and cause some sort of disease, basically. A red dragonfly, but they're blighted. Yeah. Part of the Clutch of Black Peak. The Clutch of Black Peak is a good name for something, maybe. What happens if it wakes up? I don't know yet. Because I feel like some of that kind of stuff is that's a D&D adventure, you know what I mean? It's like setting material is like, I give you the building blocks. We give ourselves the building blocks, and then the D&D adventure comes in and you're like, okay, so let's start building things with the blocks, right? Culture to start making volcanic sacrifices, yeah. So I say the dragon sleeps for now, and someone could easily run campaigns in this world where the dragon wakes up, and that has major implications for big swaths of this world, right? But for now, I think we leave it. Like, I guess here's what I'm saying. If I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with Matt Colville, but he does this really great series on running kind of a political game in D&D, and he means political in the sense of like a game having to do with power in the game world, you know, and the conflicts between nations or factions and interests and things like that. And so one of the things that he talks about in one of his World Build First, exactly, one of the things he talks about in that politics series is doing a this idea of the steady state world, right? That for some amount of time before our adventure begins, things were kind of like in a sort of tension or balance. It's not that everything was good or perfect. Pixel's trying to build a world, and at each step, you're all building campaigns around it, which is great. I love that. That means we're on to good stuff, but it's just like, we're right now, what I'm getting at is we're building the steady state world. The steady state world, peace needs reasons, conflict is the status quo, right? But the steady state world could be, you know, how do I put this? The steady state world doesn't even have to be peace. The steady state world could be war. The steady state world is just like this indeterminate period of time before our adventure begins, where there is some sort of balance in the world where, again, it doesn't have to be peace. It doesn't have to be war. It could be hot war. It could be cold war. It could be peace. It could be a lot of things, right? But it is this sort of indeterminate period of time where things kind of were, in some relevant sense to the nature of our campaign, were constant, right? And then as our campaign begins, or just before it begins, or something like that, we are going to have what is called the inciting incident, right? That there is something that happens, whether that's something our characters do, or something that the bad guy does, or even something that some other faction, they don't even have to be bad, but somebody does something that kind of changes that steady state world and sets the ball rolling into motion around which our campaign is built. So to kind of boil that all down, the dragon asleep is the steady state world. The dragon awake is the inciting incident. You know what I mean? Right? And we could build all kinds of those for all sorts of different parts of this world. So what I'm interested in us building together is steady state worlds for then folks to take this adventure and say, ooh, okay, or take this world and say, ooh, I wonder how it would change things if we had an inciting incident that looked like this. What if somebody went down to the sunken city and, you know, and found the artifact or something? What if somebody raised the sunken city back up? What if, you know, all kinds of different things, right? What happens if all the volcanoes where the otters live erupt at once and all of the otters become refugees and have to flee to the coastline of the Western continent? Right? There's all kinds of something in the sunken city wakes. Exactly, right? So those are questions that your campaign gets built on, which I love the idea that you guys have ideas for, but they're not what we build into the world. Like, we build you the like I said, these are the building blocks. These are the steady state worlds. These are the the pieces that you then get to take and move around to make a cool adventure happen, right? We're giving you those tools. Gojira. Yeah. And so that's what I'm interested in. So, you know, we have, okay, what if we cure the disease and that's not a threat anymore, right? That could be an inciting incident. Or what if that disease begins to spread more and we now have like a plague, right? Those are all kinds of things that, like, I don't think we build that into the world as an it is already happening. We build that into the world as a, like, if the DM chooses to take that piece and spin their campaign out of it, or weave it into the other pieces about which they spin their campaign, they get to go do that. We're just kind of planting those seeds, you know, for them to sprout into adventures. You know what I mean? So I like the idea that we've got going, though, that like this is a desolate and barren place, but that people I do like this idea we've hit on a couple times, that like people go there for some reason. There's some reason to actually go there. You're the starting stone. So what do you think about a warrior tribe that deals with the ash blight? Well, I liked the magical breathing apparatuses thing. That was super cool. Like sort of a gnomish or some kind of magical breathing apparatus. I loved that idea. I liked the idea that there's something about like volcanic glass or something that but you know, the thing about the volcano is, like, I don't know if the Draco Lich is, maybe it's infusing. Okay, here we go. Maybe it's infusing the lava with some sort of like a dune situation. Yeah, maybe the Draco Lich is like infusing the like maybe it is an active volcano, right? And maybe there was a dormant volcano there until that lich showed up. That like red dragon, shadow dragon, Draco Lich, whatever the fuck it is, right? Showed up and like began to like reawaken the lava and like bathe in it, and now the lava that spews out of there when he has bad dreams or she has bad dreams, whatever the gender of our dragon is like infused with this shadow power, maybe this connection to the what's the shadow realm in D&D? The Not the ethereal realm, the Raven Queen's whole deal. A magical ore. Yeah, kind of. It's like the obsidian is infused with this shadow magic. Maybe it gives this like connection to the Shadowfell or something. You know what I mean? Something kind of like that. I don't know. Magical breathing apparatus. The lava that the mountain erupts is imbued with some sort of fantastical property. Okay, we don't have to define what that property is yet. That's maybe a down the road thing. I don't know. Okay, and so as a result, there is a serious demand for this resource and a blight ore. Yeah, maybe blight ore. Blight ore that gets turned into shadow glass or something. Or maybe blight metal. Blightstone. Blightstone's not bad. A Blightstone blade kind of thing. I don't know. Dread ore that makes dread steel. Okay. So there's a serious demand for this resource, and therefore, people, desperate ones probably, or desperate or greedy ones probably, are willing to risk going into the, we'll call it the danger zone for now, to acquire it. Okay. I love that. What if blight animals / blight monsters feed on the on the blight ore. And this both makes them sick with blight, but also keeps them alive. So it's like it turns into these like husked out creatures that all they can eat is blight ore, kind of, and it makes it so that like not only is it just dangerous to go into this place, but like all the monsters and creatures there like congregate around these pockets of this ore, right? And feed off of it, making it even more dangerous because you have to go and kill them. And you can actually harvest some of it from their bodies, right? But they don't even eat anything else, and they don't need sunlight anymore. They just feed off of the magical essence of this ore, and it like does crazy things to them. It's like radioactivity, but it's magical and shadow based or something. Okay. So we know that there's some group of people that is willing to go into here, right? So let's ask some questions about these people, because I think now we're getting to the point where I'm like, okay, I think we're ready to start building our first group of humanoids. Reminds me of WoW with that arcane stuff, but better. So I think we're ready to start building our first group of people. So what if the people who wear the breathing apparatus equipment go in and get them, call them ash runners? Love that. That's a great thing. Ash runners. Yeah. And so, how do we conceive of these people, right? What's like, is this a hereditary thing? I don't think so. Is this a like desperate fools kind of thing? Maybe. What's their relationship to other people? Are the ash runners relatively powerful people who are rich because they're capable of doing this incredibly dangerous thing? Or are the ash runners like an exploited people, and the people who send them into the ash are rich people? They are prisoners. Could be. We could do like, you could do like an Australia thing with them, like when they other nations send their least wanted people, to this sort of hive of scum and villainy that is. They should def not agree with it. Normal. I don't know what that means, Buckman. But that they are, comes down to the resource. If it can be used to make weapon, I'd say they're powerful and sell their services at a high price. I mean, I don't know. Like it could be though that like, if it's not something you can make into a weapon without advanced refining techniques, then it's not like they can go out into the wilderness, get this stuff, make it into weapons, and come back and kill people with, and then like, and take over and rebel, right? It's like, it's not, maybe if it's not useful in that way, if it has to be refined further, then, it's really like the people who own the refineries and control this sort of like prisoners trade. Maybe they're voted in, maybe they're outcasts. Yeah, I don't know. I think the prisoners thing I maybe kind of like, because it gives me this idea that there's either is one nation or several nations that are like exporting people to this, right? To this sort of, and that it's this like almost near death sentence kind of thing, and maybe there's a bit of a like Dune Sardaukar element where it's like, if you survive a certain number of ash runs, you get all this like prestige. Maybe it's like if you survive a certain number of ash runs, which is I think what you would call that, right? Maybe it makes nice art for the rich too. Maybe it makes like some sort of special dyes and things like that. Makes Vanta black basically. But yeah, maybe it's like if you survive 3 or 5 or 10 ash runs or something like that, you get to kind of get like, you get out. You get to be, like, and almost no one ever does it, right? But like if you survive that long, it's like you get, freed, and not only freed, but you get like this huge amount of money, and you get, whatever, you kind of get inducted into the society of people that does this to other people, right? And you begin to benefit from that system, which kind of keeps everyone eternally like hoping that they'll be one of the ones that makes it. I don't know. What do we think? Maybe it's like Shimmer, Gloom, Die or something. I don't know. You want to make an Ash Runner character? Yeah, I think it could be a great sort of like Suicide Squad campaign setting, you know, kind of thing, where you have these sort of like characters who have been imprisoned, maybe some of them justly, maybe some of them unjustly, and they've got to survive these Ash runs, and you do this whole sort of thing about. I think it's a great idea. Okay. So I like these Ash Runners. I like they are prisoners. I like that. They're prisoners. From Hey Kiddo, Minecraft Discord, Tenacious C daughter had an accident in the schoolyard. Uh-oh. Oh goodness. I'm sorry to hear that. That sounds awful. Sending all the vibes, yeah. For sure. Guys, I'm really enjoying this. Getting a CT scan. Oh my goodness. Oh. Yeah, I hope they're okay. Okay. So here we go. All right. So we got to do some work here, right? Where do the Ash Runners come from? And where do they go? Thanks for sharing that for me, Pixel. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't mind an Ash Runner. Yeah, it would be a really cool campaign. I'm very into this. I don't know that I'll have time to ever run it, but I hope that someone does. Okay, where do they come from and where do they go, right? Nothing is jumping out at me with the way this is currently laid out. I don't think. But here's what I do think. I do think I need more of this rocky desert because I think the rocky desert is where we tend to find these. So, like, I think all around the mountain is rocky desert, right? Uh-oh. I lost a mountain. Right? Maybe they have an encampment to the north. Yeah, somewhere up here could be good. Something like that. Maybe something like over here. I don't know. Maybe this one little spot. Maybe something. Oh, well, yeah, maybe something with like water access. You know, so like maybe something over here. I don't know. I feel like there's got to be reasons why they do the thing the way they do it. So let's think about it. I also feel like I need to clear some of this out and make it not. I feel like this needs to just be farmland. Like this whole zone, I think probably not. Maybe more heavy forests and a little bit more forested in this area. Kind of like the idea of a city on the outskirts, but maybe an outpost in the heart of it all where they keep tools and wardens stay with the others while they work. They send the big wagons of prisoners who won the lottery to the main encampment. Yeah. I guess it could be like near this water, maybe. I don't know. Maybe over here, and there's like a camp over there, and they ship the stuff out. Maybe you make enough successful runs for the kingdom, you get to be a warden, fight to the death. Yeah, that's kind of my idea. Black Moon is like you get to get promoted out of the pit, you know, kind of thing. And you get to be like and maybe it's like a company. You know what I mean? It's like a private prison company basically that like runs this mine operation or whatever. Hang on. You know, and because you really could like do a lot with how unbelievably messed up that is. You know what I mean? In terms of like the D&D campaign really showcasing that. Does it need to be close to the sea to ship it, right? Yeah, it does, right? I think, or at least like the main encampment does, right? Um, they play Dread dice much like Liar's dice to try and trade run credits. Maybe everyone is happy, safe, and well fed, and there's no social unrest. This is supposed to be fantasy after all. Yeah, could be. We could do that. That is an option. Is that everything's fine out here? I guess though, Beast, in a world where everything's fine, there's no need for heroes, right? What are the heroes gonna do? Make it better? But in Paradise, who's a hero in Paradise, right? And so maybe that's why we have so much unfortunate sad crap in our fantasies, is to give us the chance for heroes that can fix it, even though that doesn't happen in the real world. Okay, here's what we're gonna do, guys. I think let's make all of that really duney, and maybe let's make this kind of dunes, but maybe let's make some like farmland here. No, that's not what I wanted. I'm thinking let's make like a bay. That's a GBO pixel. What's a GBO? Anti-heroes. Okay, so, okay, what I'm getting at here then is like maybe blinding glimpse of the obvious. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Right, is that maybe what's going on here is that there is an encampment. I don't know what would be a good one of these for an encampment, honestly. About the need for chaos so we can have heroes. Gotcha. I guess we could make this like a little fort. No. I don't know. What is this? Military cruiser, military fort, military castle. Ships. Come on, guys. A settlement city? That almost looks like spacey to me. A settlement camp. Okay. My point being that there's like a... What is this? Capital? Okay. Capital Modern. That maybe there's some sort of like settlement near the garbage water thing, right? And then that there is a like port over here. Yeah. And so people basically have to like make their way, you know, through the desert to the place. I'm going to get rid of that line. You know what I mean? And so it's like a hard trip through the desert to this thing, and they get some water out of this, although it's diseased and it messes with people. And then they have to make runs closer and closer to the mountain. But there's all this like evil, nasty shit that comes from the mountain. And I think maybe this side of the desert, there's just more of it, you know, and it's like harder to get to it. I almost think let's put some mountains over here, like up this way, to kind of just block off. Like, to make this make more sense. So we're going to get rid of that. Shit. I want to select this line. Delete. Select. Oh, we deleted it. Okay, great. Terrain. Let's put some mountains. Yeah. How's everybody feeling? Am I running roughshod over you guys, or everyone feel like their input is getting heard here? Full Badlands. I don't know what full Badlands are. Love it. If you're lucky enough to get past those mountains, there's beautiful forests and lakes. All right, now where are my mountains at? Okay. So, like, let's say there's just, like, mountains up here. There's, like, a mountain range that just makes it, like, not really make a lot of sense to go that way, you know? Does the volcano radiate blight? Do things get exponentially worse the oh, yes. Things get worse the closer you get to the mountain. Absolutely. It's like everything gets worse, but also you come across more of the stuff. You know what I mean? And I almost want to turn some of this tropical jungle into like dead tropical jungle from the ash blight. Do they have mountain dead forest? They have mountain underdark. Okay, I think there's dead forest wetlands. Yeah, I think like a lot of this ends up being like dead forest wetlands too. And I think it like something like that, right? That's exactly what I was thinking. The trees would be dead and dying. Yeah. And it's this, like, it's big. And maybe even, so I don't know that they're on the, I think these are dead too. On the other side of the mountains. You know, it's like, yeah. Right? And maybe even these over here. What else do we have? Do I have Dead Forest Hills? I don't think I do. Oh, I do. Okay. Yeah. Right. So that it makes sense that like this is really the only way in here. Like you could come this other way, but like it's way harder. Water farm Candy Cards don't have much knowledge of this stuff, but here to support. Right on. Well, thank you for hanging out, Candy. Okay, so I'm really digging this. We've got these ash runners. We've got, okay, so we've had some suggestions of the name for the mountain. We've called it Black Peak. I think that works. Everyone cool with that? What about Black Blight Peak? Yeah? What do we think about that? Love it. Okay. All right, let's save. let's save before I screw anything up. Okay. Labeling stuff on here is kind of hard. Ooh, don't like that. Nope. That didn't work. Label style. Geography. Okay, that it's too big. Label in world document and go back later. Yeah, it's not working for me. So, okay. So Black Blight Peak. I'm gonna bold that because I think we're sold on that. Okay. Ash Blight. I like that. I think that's what we'll call it. I like this idea of Ashborn. I like the Blight Ore. I like maybe calling the stuff that's made out of it Brightstone, you know. I love Ash Runners. That's a 10 out of 10 idea. I like. Oh, I had an idea. So we talked about maybe it also makes some kind of dye or pigment. I like shimmer gloom for that. I don't know about you guys. Um. Okay. So here's maybe a couple of other things, right? Maybe there are. I still shimmer gloom, shimmer gloom, shimmer gloom, and shimmer shade. Yeah, shimmer shade's not bad. Maybe shimmer shade ink and shimmer gloom dye, something like that. I don't know. Um. Okay. So we have our ash runners. Okay, I like this private prison company idea. What's the name of that? What's the who is that? I'm thinking like East India Trading Company like style of naming this these absolute garbage people. Um but it's like a mining company. Some such and such mining company, which kind of and I feel like it needs to be this kind of like benign name that misgives the fact that what they actually do, they're like, yes, they're technically mining, but like they're sending these people into these like ridiculously horrible ash runs, and practically giving them blight disease and all this stuff. um so it's the such and such mining company, right? Something to do with gold or light, would have to sound appealing. Rutherford Mining Company. I don't know. I wanted to give a hint of the truth. That is, I want to like I don't know, and maybe we won't be able to come up with a name that we like in this particular moment. But like I want it to be one of those things that after you're like, oh, of course that's what that meant. You know what I mean? Um, like nothing too on the nose, right? But something that's like just on the nosy enough. um okay, one of the things I do at times like this is I pull up Google Translate and I take words in English and I translate them into a bunch of other languages and see. So let's like take shadow and translate that into just a bunch of different shit. um okay. mm, mm. um that could be all right. uh no. Maybe. um Maybe translate runner. um let's oh There we go. Some of that. Okay, Zala or Blight. We could try Blight. um, I'm just like randomly picking stuff. I don't know. Corrupto. No, absolutely not. Blight. Okay. Um, no. Fallness.
Fallness.
The Fallness Mining Company. Maybe. I feel like it needs more to it. I don't know. Um. Um. I don't know. What do we think? Anything jumping out at anybody?
Pennies.
The Pennies Mining Company. Oh man.
Árnyék.
Um.
Elhalóért.
I mean, we could go really on the nose, right? And just translate it into something. Am I sure I'm set on mining company? I don't necessarily. If you got an idea, hit me. You know, I'm not locked into necessarily much of anything at this point.
荒廃鉱石。
Kohai Koseki? I'm skeptical about that. I don't know that that's what those words mean.
Μετάλλευμα μαστίχας.
The final run mining company or end of the line mines feel like, yeah, it feels like a little too spot on. Very on the nose, yeah.
Brænnemalm.
Renamalm. Let's see. Ash Runners, Shimmer Shade, Ashborn, Ash Blight, Blight Ore, Shimmer Shade, Shimmer Gloom, Brightstone. Oh. Here we go. Brightstone Mining Company, baby. There it is. There she is. Bright Cloud. I like Brightstone Mining Company. I think that gets us there. Because it's the kind of thing you would name a mining company. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I think we got it. All right. So we have the Brightstone Mining Company. And let's switch how this is laid out. Brightstone Mining Company hang on. Basically a private prison company. They import prisoners from somewhere, TBD. So I see that later. They import prisoners from somewhere. And Brightstone Mining Company is perfect. Various kingdoms through lottery. Yeah, well, I think we'll deal with that when we start to build out from here, right? I think that's a misty, far off question mark that we can answer at some point. They import prisoners from somewhere, and they winnow through them to make some into Ash Runners, and others into, like, I don't know, like camp servants, kind of. So it's like the hierarchy is like camp servants on the bottom. And then there's the Ash Runners. And then there's the Wardens. And we can add to this later, right? Camp servants can, I don't know, like appeal to be Ash Runners through lottery. And then Ash Runners. Most major settlements have various ethnic groups living together. Okay. I don't see, like, yeah. Like the all walks of life taught in their givers. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of thinking like this is, I'm talking about like okay, let me put this. I'm talking about the, this encampment. That's where I'm at right now. If that helps, clue us in. Yeah, I think totally, like these are folks from a lot of different places. Like all these prisoners are just like from everywhere, right? Higher up than that, called the Black Guard, that protects the main warden guy, everyone from the company that visits. Sure, we can wardens. Black Guards. Okay. Yeah, like I don't see any reason why this couldn't be a massive, like, you know, sort of wildly diverse group of folks who are ending up prisoners in this mining camp. You know what I mean? They would have blight breathers. Yeah. Yeah, we'll come up with something. Okay, so these Ash Runners are, if the Ash Runners survive. I don't know the number. 3, 5, 10. It's got to be more like 10 ash runs. They are promoted out of the encampment and return to the port city to lead a life of relative luxury. Because I like this idea that, like, okay, it's this shining hope that keeps all of these ash runners going, is that, like, okay, if I just like make it out of this, then I get to go back to the port city and like they pay me this big lump sum of money, and you know I get like some kind of place to live that I buy for myself or whatever, and I can like start to be like a normal person kind of. But it's like it's the way it's supposed to, like it almost never actually happens, of course, right? But it does occasionally happen, right? To keep people hoping. Fatality rate 80%. Yeah, something crazy, right? Where they don't give you luxury and you have a mild addiction to blight. No, I think they do. I think, I think that's the part of it that I'm like, it almost never happens. But when it does happen, I think they make good on the promise, because that's the thing that it's like, it keeps the people going, right? And that sometimes the people like come back because they've like bought into the company or something, and now they're like, and it just shows people that it really does happen. You know what I mean? It's like, it really can happen. It could happen for you because it happened for me if you just survive 10, horrible ash runs. And you can buy all the ash blight medicine or whatever. No, I think they move on to luxury, guys. I like that. Like, I know, like the idea is like, aha, but it's all a sick joke, and they don't even ever actually get it. But it's like, I think the sicker joke is that the tiny, tiny fraction of them do get it, and then they turn around and justify all the suffering and all the failure of all the others. You know what I mean? They're like, no, like this system was good because I made it out, and if you were just strong and smart like me, you could make it out too. Right. And it's like, but we know 90% of them are never going to make it out. Right. And that in a just world, we wouldn't have a system where we did this to people. Right. But it's a way to take these people who survived this horrible thing and make them feel like, oh, like I survived that because I'm special and wonderful and good, and I deserve all these nice things that are happening for me. And then I can turn around and sort of like be this example to all the other people who are suffering, that if you were just as cool and smart and wonderful as me, you wouldn't suffer either. Right. And it keeps them all hoping for that golden city that they could reach, but you can't reach it. Right. But like some can, but like you probably can't. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, right? So that's, I don't know, as the executive of the moment, that's there's a post file that stays there, but for massive coin, yeah, something like that. Well, I do, and I think like some people like begin to believe in it so much that they like invest in the company and they like become like shareholders, and every so often they like bring the shareholders to the camp to show them like the heaps of stuff that they mined or whatever, I don't know. And to let other people who used to like run ash with that guy see, oh, he made it out and now he's wearing all these fine clothes and has all this money and whatever, right? And doesn't cough from the ash anymore because the healers healed him or whatever. Okay, so if the ash runners survive 10 ash runs, they're promoted out of the encampment. I think so. Here's the question: where do the wardens and the blackguards come from? Right? Somebody suggested, ooh, maybe there's like a thing. If the ash runners survive 5 ash runs, they can choose to be promoted to warden instead, foregoing the idea. This is a really money hungry world. Yeah. Foregoing the idea, or foregoing the chance to get out via ash runs, but wardens who survive for 10 years get to get out with a smaller severance kind of thing. So it's like, okay, look, if you keep going on these ash runs, right, like you're almost certainly gonna die on a long enough timeline. And you have this like really slim shot of like really making it out of here. But if you survive a couple of them, right, you can get promoted to this like supervisory position where like your mortality rate drops a lot. It's not great. Maybe it's 60% instead of 80%, but it drops a lot. And if you just survive that long enough, then you can get out. And it's not as good a deal as if you made the 10 ash runs. Right? But yeah, and maybe the blackguards are Ashborn. No, maybe they're not. Maybe they haven't slain them. Maybe they are Ashborn. Maybe they're like people who were born here who adapted to the ash, right? And it's like if you have a kid here who adapts to the ash, it like they internalize the magic and like their bodies are like and so they like separate them and raise them to become blackguard, right? Yeah, I like that. That they're this like yeah, smaller percentage of living. Yeah. Okay. So I feel like we're starting to get a sense of how this place works, right? We have these like different groups that they kind of like pit against each other, right? All of the camp servants wish they were ash runners because camp servants don't have any way of getting out of here, right? Other than getting promoted to ash. What would they call an infected? Um that's a good question. Um Ash split, ash split, ash blight. Ash burned? Ash burned. Maybe. Maybe bit, ash burned, blight bit, blight burned. I don't know. Anything hitting for you guys? Like I like the idea. Okay, here's the thing. I think infected like creatures are all I don't know. Maybe the creatures are ashborn. Blight eater could be good. Maybe the creatures and things are ashborn, right? Like if you have this ash sickness, right? And you're like a natural creature, like they just call it ashborn. But like maybe the idea of like people that are ashborn, right? Like a certain in the same way that a certain blight eater, yeah, maybe in the same way that like a certain percentage of the animals survive and then it become crazy powerful and strong from this stuff, right? Maybe a certain number of the like uh humans that are born in this region have this same reaction, this ability to kind of hang on, I gotta reactivate my cam. Um, have this same kind of like ability to adapt and thrive to this stuff, right? And it makes them like crazy strong and things like that, and so maybe it's just like a varying degrees of how it interacts with your body or whatever. I don't know. What do you think? Am I on a track with that or not? Because I do think there's something about like blight bitten or ash bitten or ash burned or blight burned or something like that that could be good. Blight lost is all right. Blight lost could be it. And the idea of like an ashborn creature, and maybe here's the distinction, right? An ashborn creature is something that fully internalizes the blight, whether human or not, right? That internalizes it and like the sensitive ones that go on runs with the that go. Oh, that's fine. No. Words associated with ash would be like char, slag, soot. Yeah. Um Ash built are the strong ones, maybe. Ash built could be it. Maybe they're not ash born, they're ash built. Although, I don't know. I think I like Ashborn better than Ashbuilt. Charsoul, having Soot Sight. They can find the ore as Ashborn. Yeah. Um. Would their eyes be characteristically white or black? I don't know. I don't know. I like the idea of the blackguards being humans who are born, who are like specially adapted to the blight in some way. And maybe they have char souls. Sounds very interesting. Yeah. Maybe they have like different categories of these things, right? Like like maybe people adapt to it in different ways. Like maybe some people get this kind of like, you know, sight that allows them to, or smell, or some sort of sense that allows them to scent Blight Fiend. Yeah. That allows them to sense the ore. Maybe some of them just get stronger and more powerful, you know. Maybe some of them are like immune to any other kind of poison or disease. Like they could have different like ways that their bodies react to this that sort of categorizes them, you know, differently in terms of their abilities. The baddies be Blight Fiends. I think Blight Fiends is good. I like Blight Fiends as like the monsters and stuff are Blight Fiends. Um, taken over by Blight. Yeah. Um, call them blighters and use it. You guys have a heckin' cool idea. Yeah, I'm really satisfied. This has gone really, really well. Why is my freaking... Hang on, guys. My camera is going out of focus for no discernible reason. Like the local slang, yeah. And we could use a lot of these different ideas. Okay, let me just write down a bunch of the slang or the different like stuff here. Right? Okay. So there was blight, burned, ash, burned, blight, bitten, ash bitten, blight, or ash blit. There was blighters. What else did we have in chat, guys? Blight fiend, which I like that for the monsters and stuff. Charsoul. I'm just writing these down so we don't forget them. Basically, soot sight. Let's see, ash, char, slag, soot. Just get those words in there so we can have those at our fingertips. Ash built. Blight eater, blight lost. Yep. If you guys are saying stuff, sorry, I'm going back up through chat to grab some of these words. Okay. I think that can be a TBD, right? I think we have a sense that okay. Black guards are... This setting is hard for me not to fall into Soulsborne Lord. Why is my camera going out of focus so much, guys? What is happening? I don't understand. Hey, you, stop that. Humans born in the camp who are specially adapted to the blight, which gives them abilities. I also think your camera's tired. You've aimed it at you all day. It's tired. Yeah. Maybe they can't survive though outside of the blight lands. And maybe that's what we call the area around the mountain. The Black Blight Mountain is surrounded by the Blightlands. Because they need they're like the spice in Dune. They need the spice, right? They need the presence of the blight in their air, water, diet, etc. to live. Okay, so I like that. I like this Blackguards thing. We like these Ash Runners. We like these Wardens. Okay. So I feel like we have a good sense. So we have the Brightstone Mining Company, right? What do we call this encampment? Anyone got ideas for that thing? Connected to the dragon in some metaphysical, physical way. That's an interesting idea. Are the Ash Blighted, Ashborn, etc. connected to the dragon in some metaphysical way? Does that mean if they have special breathing for those who run, they have special breathing if the Ashborn need to leave? I don't think they let them leave. I think maybe there's this, like, they're celebrated in the area because they have these powers, these abilities, whatever. But also, I think if they try to leave, like, I think other people are very fearful of them. I think they're worried that they're going to spread this infection or something. I don't think they have it very good outside of here. And so that it's very easy for them to keep these people here because they're like, yeah, like, where are you going to go? You know, you need this Ash Blight stuff to survive. Like, no one's going to like you elsewhere, you know. Ashbone Camp. Okay, could be. Is all the dead bodies. Actually, that's not where I want that. Where do I want this? Bleak Run encampment. Okay, Bleak Run encampment could be. I think we'll toss it around. We'll figure it out. Okay. Let's start thinking then a little bit. Like, let's zoom out. I feel like we've got a lot of good details. They call it Asheville. That's funny, Asheville. I feel like that's like a sarcastic name for it. Maybe. Okay. Okay, I'm with it, guys. I think we've done some really good work. I know I got a bit of a later start on this. I've streamed like so much today. I think we're gonna call it a stream here. I really dig this. I think next time I want to start to focus in on this encampment. I can already begin to see there's a bunch of farmland here, and there's a bunch of farmland here, and this Great Lakes region, right? That I think all of those places are like complicit in this, you know? And so we'll maybe start to work on this port city next. Good job, everyone. Yeah, I'm really satisfied. I was worried that we wouldn't have enough people to really make a go of this, but you guys really put a Bones of the Lost, like dog tags. Yeah, maybe. You guys really put a lot of cool ideas out there. I'm very excited. I think we got a lot of really fun work done. Let's save this thing. And let me see if there's anybody we can go raid, you guys.